My name is John Kim. I attended KIS until 2021, so yeah, I'm a KIS class of 2021. And then after that, I attended Emory University for a year. And after my military service for about 18 months, I recently started an internship at an ed tech startup. I first came to KIS in 2018 of August, as a sophomore. It was a drastically different environment compared to the school that I was attending previously. I actually attended a public school in Los Angeles filled with, somewhat like where like 2,000 kids attended one high school. But then coming to Korea, it was a different environment, a whole new country, and being in a whole new private high school with international kids. It was very worthwhile at KIS just because of the fact that class size were a lot smaller at KIS. Compared, looking back at it compared to my high school in LLA, we really did not get a chance to ask teachers questions or have any meaningful interactions except for just being there for the class's sake. But coming to KIS, there's only like maybe at 10 people at most in one class in certain classes, and that really gave me a chance to dive deeper into learning and also interact with teachers and also my peers a lot better than I used to.
Can you share with us and everyone out there what the transition from a relatively small environment here at KIS to now the East Coast of the US, what that first year looked like, what some of the challenges and even some of the high points that you had during year one of university?
Yeah, on that topic, I'd like to first touch upon two things that I found most beneficial from being in KIS. Is that first is writing versus writing, and second is that again going back on that small class environment. In junior year, I took AP language with Mr. Van Mops, and then took senior year just took grade 12 English and with Miss Sherrier. Um, you even 10th grade, took English with Miss Beecham. And those 3 years of English classes really shaped my writing experience. And how that helped in college is that in college, eventually everything is writing. Everything comes down to writing. That's something that I noticed. So just really getting that writing down in KIS helped me a lot. And touching upon the second point, I want to talk more about like the small class environment in KIS. Now, how that really benefited was in first year for most colleges, you have to take a seminar class with only maybe 10 to 15 students, and for a lot of other high school students, that's an unfamiliar environment. Some of them might be hesitant to talk. Some of them might be wondering like, well, what is this? Why are there so many few kids here? But being from KIS, being in a small class environment, having that really good interaction with professors, with teachers and peers in the class, it definitely helped a lot.
So my first question is, how was military service, and was there anything that surprised you while you were there?
Military service was both awarding and surprising. It's an environment like you've never been in before, right? It's very hierarchical. Everything is very structured. It's very different environment than what any of us would have been involved in, especially after freshman year in college. Where everything was just very very exciting, very energizing, and then going into military after that, and everything is very toned down, very strict. It was definitely surprising. So yeah, the environment factor is definitely was a big shock for me. Second would be the people, and with the people, it was both good and bad. It was good in a way that you get to really interact with some traditional Koreans you would have never gotten a chance to interact with in the international school before. You can find out what kind of background they come from. You can find out what kind of educational background they also come from. So you get to hear a very diverse perspective on how people used to live, how people that are outside of our international school boundary live. So it was a great experience. It's definitely hard living in a barrack with, like 20 people that you've never met before in your life. So they have different life patterns. They have different uh, sleeping habits as well. Some may snore, some may grind their teeth. But even those so-called bad factors, I'd say in the beginning, um, you learn to make the best out of them. You learn to respect people's habits. You learn to adjust to certain circumstances that you're in. So that's definitely something that you can learn from. You learn to make good things out of bad situations. The last part would be work. The work is that, so for me, I was an administrative specialist of our unit. Even in that work environment, it gives you a sense of what working in a society feels like, right? Being in high school, being in college, you never really made choices that are that could affect your organization unless you're in a club or something. But in military, it's like you have a job. You're a professional. You really learn to master your job, your position, and you learn to take responsibility for your action. So that was definitely an experience that not a lot of people in their early 20s can say that they accomplished.
How did you decide to 1 year of university, return to Korea, and then spend the next year and a half or 2 years in your military service? Can you walk us through that?
This might seem like it might seem unreasonable, but here's why it makes sense. So first, the biggest reason is that all the other Korean students, Korean university students, they usually do 1 year of college and then they go into military service. The fact that and that's the main reason why I decided to go after 1 year military is because I wanted to be in the same pace as other kids. I think that's really important because when you have a conversation with your friends, it's about what kind of experience you have in life. And now that I got the military service out of the way, even if I meet my Korean friends who are again born in like 2002, 2003, it's a commonality in the conversation that we can really share together. The secondary reason was I went in early as soon as possible because I didn't want to run away from my military service. I think that's the biggest point. I had to go eventually, but I know some people who push their military service till they're in their late 20s or even for in their early 30s. And at that point, you've walked too far down in path, in your life. I don't think anyone would want to go. And there are too many things you have to leave behind at that point to go into military. Your career, maybe your family. But as a freshman who just finished his year in college, there's not that much to leave behind. Honestly, going in there early, getting it out of the way as soon as possible is more beneficial for you, especially because after the military service, you have like like myself, you have 7 to 8 months to yourself and can truly develop and pursue what you would have liked to.
How do you think the last 18 months will benefit you when you go back as a second year college student? You're now, really getting into your academic major. How do you think some of these experiences, some of the opportunities that you may have had, how will that spring load you into your second year?
Academically, the military would have benefited me because that 18 month gave me clarity on what I want to do in the future and who I really am. In freshman year of college, I founded my deep interest in business and data science. But again, really did not know how to make the most out of that. And then the military came. That 18-month period was honestly a break for me. It was honestly a good time frame that gave me clarity on what exactly I want to pursue in business, what exactly why I want to study data science, and after those thinking, I now know that I really do want to pursue my career in management consulting, either either strategy or operations. The second point that I mentioned was with I came to sense with who I really am. In that 18 months, you find yourself in sometimes in tough positions, uh, or even great positions, right? And you learn how to navigate through life. You learn how to navigate through people, and you learn how to navigate. Excuse me. You learn how to deal with people who are superior than you, people who are subordinate than you, and that translates not just my time in university, but even my time in my career life. You have more experience on how to handle some of the situations at work and some more professional dealings.
I feel like in high school, like it's either like people are at opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of, you know, like knowing what major to go into. Like they either like know very specifically or they just don't know at all. Um, what would you say of how would you say your college in first year of college helped you find that you were interested in business and those things?
Again, like I told you, like in high school, I had zero clue what I wanted to do. But then when I did go into college, I the first thing I joined was, of course, Korean society at Emory. There are diverse career paths, and there are multitudes of organizations in college beyond your imagination. Like in KIS, there are only a handful, like compared to how many they have in college. It's very much tailored to your needs. So again, I say try joining a few organizations and see what you like, and then don't worry too much about having to navigate through that career path yourself. Because once you're involved, and once people know that you're involved, and they know how passionate you are, then the upperclassmen who have more knowledge on the career or who have more experience with that path will guide you. And with that being said, this is such a cliche thing to say, but the major that you have in mind right now in high school does not have to be your major um, in your college, or in your whatever your career path you've chosen in high school doesn't have to be your career path in 10 to 20 years. So leave a room for imagination. So definitely in college, try out a lot of organizations, meet a lot of people, and see what you really like.
What led you to interning with Quanda?
Towards the end of my military service, in around end of November, I began looking for internships that I wanted to apply. I was looking for business development or strategy role, and fortunately and unfortunately for my decision making, I got accepted to three places. And the reason why I chose Quanda was it was because it was a right thing to do almost. Quanda had again, like I said, they're an education technology company. So they're all about spreading awareness and spreading education through means of technology. And their mission has such a high social value, and the value added to society was so special. I decided to join the company. Quanda is actually a Korean startup. They do have about 90 million users all over Asia, but they're trying to expand that into the States. The first thing that they're doing with the U.S. expansion is that they're building a product for college students, helping them study better. And as a student myself, I would have loved to get some studying aids. Uh, yeah, I would love to have some studying aids for some of the classes that I was struggling in. And their purpose and their mission was amazing, and the fact that they're trying to globalize their mission into the U.S. Really grabbed my attention. So that's why I tried. That's why I wanted to take on their mission and join their mission in spreading education even beyond Korea. Uh, and yeah, they were. I'm fortunate enough to actually fly out here in LA with the rest of the team working on this product. It's called Prep Pie. And yeah, we're trying to meet UCLA students, see what they really want, see what the college students are really struggling in. So this isn't just another product on the market where we're just trying to sell for this for the sake of selling it, but really trying to tailor to students' needs and the educational technology.
So how would you advise other students to find internships that or jobs that they're really passionate about?
First thing I would do is search for internships that are right for your role. What I'm trying to say is, there are like other internships out there, right? Like for example, I could have done like investment banking research or like finance research, but that wasn't something that I'm passionate about. That wasn't something I'm interested in. And some students, I've noticed that like some people just do it for the sake of getting the internship done. And I highly advise not to do that, because if you don't love what you're doing, it's gonna be very hard. Like even if your internship is like for like 3 months, it's gonna be very difficult. 3 months, having to go to work. So yeah, first I would definitely be to find the right position for your job, the position that you want. Second is to look for the right company. Obviously, the company needs to know what they're pursuing, like, because in the company's core, like they have some value that they're adding to society, and that's something that I would advise you to look for. Now, the company might be saying that they do, but they might be going to another direction. Try to really look for what kind of direction is this company going towards. Are they really staying true to the value that they're adding to society? And the third would be to know, if you can, know in advance who you might be working for. The biggest reason why I chose Quanda over any other companies that I got accepted to was because of the person who interviewed me. She was going to be my supervisor, and there's that gut feeling where like where if working with this person is going to be a right thing to do. Like you can tell that the other person is passionate about what they do. So just really surround yourself with people who are passionate about what they do, who are not just there for the sake of earning salary, but really want to be there. People who really want to work with you, especially.
We're 4 months out from graduation. We're going to ask for advice. How can you help our current seniors navigate these last 4 kind of stressful months, and also the summer before they make this leap of faith? What can you share about your experience and maybe what you wish you knew going into this?
During the last few months of high school, I'd say reflect on yourself. Look back at your high school years, see who you were close with, see if you have missed anything, right? After you reflect on yourself, you find some of these gaps, and I would say try to fill that in. For me, I tried to hang out with more of my high school friends. These relationships do last. Like especially, you might think that high school, just get it over, just gonna get it over with. Here comes college, but I realized that that's not true. Something that you make from high school will definitely last. So try to cherish these last 4 months. Really surround yourself with people that you want to be with. And like I said earlier, don't be afraid to explore your career path. U.S. colleges, especially, they're very generous on what kind of majors you want to do, what kind of minors you want to do. You can always switch. So take this time to, I guess like cumulatively just revisiting and also thinking about what kind of path you want to embark on.